and welcome to the NGO Whisperer show. My name is Dr. Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer and the convener of the NGO Whisperer Masterclass, the official sponsors of the NGO Whisperer show. Joining us for part 2 of people-centered programs from Windhoek, Namibia is Emmarencia van Wyk. She is a human resource practitioner and certified image consultant, and also the founder of Makeanoise Community Safety and Crime Prevention Nonprofit. Emmarencia, welcome again to the show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carolyne. It's really an honor to be on the NGO Whisperer show.
What inspired you to work in this area of crime prevention, safety within the community, and what services do you offer?
Firstly, children are my passion, and it's a passion that I've been discovered many, many years ago, prior to even starting Makeanoise Community Safety. I've actually in total been working with children now for the past 8 years, although Makeanoise is only 2 years old. So what I did in the past is that I joined the International Women Association, and I volunteered. You know, I would set aside for example, a Monday of the week, and I worked with them. I was instrumental in the team who set up the first resource center in one of our poor communities at the Jacob Morenga school, where we would take children from the neighborhood just to assist them with homework and doing a bit of art and things like that with them. So I think it was a need. It was the passion that really drive me, to do much more. And because of, I think, the issues that we are facing in our country, gender-based violence, as we know, is worldwide a crisis. And I thought, what can I do, to really keep especially women and children and the most vulnerable in our communities safe? What can we do with regards to gender-based violence? I asked myself, and I realized that there's a need for preventative programs. There are a lot of NGOs, if I could say, focusing on the aftermath of gender-based violence, but why not preventing it, in the first place from happening? Why should somebody go through rape? Why should somebody go through gender-based violence? Why can't we prohibit it? And I think that's the idea behind Makeanoise Community Safety, to ensure that we prevent it, to ensure that women, children, and the most vulnerable can feel safe at home and also in public spaces.
And where do you implement these programs? Do you implement it across the country or in certain provinces?
Dr. Carolyne, we've been limited, because being a new NGO and the resource is not available to us, we unfortunately could not roll it out countrywide, although that is our aim and goal going forward. But so I've been mainly working in Windhoek, and also at the coast. I've got a representative at the coast. So we've been rolling out, for example, the child abuse prevention program. It's this one, where we empower children, about body safety awareness, what to do and what not to do, to empower children to speak up if they've got a problem, and sadly, throughout our interventions with the children, we had a lot of children who has already gone through abuse, or who are in abusive homes and situations. And what we do is then to advocate for in-service delivery for these children, to get towards healing and the aim of, becoming resilient adults going forward in their lives. So yeah, it's very sad, but child abuse is rife in our country. We're talking about 2,800 rape cases in just 2 years. And in the majority of these cases, obviously children and women. And so yeah, we're really faced with a rape crisis in Namibia.
How has COVID impacted all this work that you're doing right now? And how have you pivoted to ensure that you continue to provide these services, especially for the children?
Dr. Carolyne, with COVID, unfortunately, we could not do the face-to-face interventions with the children because of firstly lockdown, and then also because of the COVID regulations and etc. And schools also, where we've been reaching out to the children, limited their visitations, or interactions with the children from outside people, so it was really difficult to reach the children. But what we did as a project is we thought, how could we still serve the children in the face of the pandemic, and we decided to start a feeding scheme. So with the COVID starting in our country, I think in March last year was our first lockdown. I acquired a essential services permit. We needed permits to actually be able to move around and do work during that time. So we got a permit and we set up the first feeding scheme, COVID feeding scheme, during that time of the start of the pandemic, whereby we are providing a nutritious meal to about 300 children.
COVID did not really stop you. It helped you to elevate your program and to meet the nutritional needs of the children whom you have been serving under Makeanoise Community Safety and Crime Prevention Program. Now let's go into the partnerships, because I know you've mentioned you work with different organizations, different corporations. How do you build partnerships with different entities? And if there's anyone watching or different organizations watching, how can they collaborate and partner with you?
Dr. Carolyne, I'm really glad to mention that our stakeholders are the Namibian police, the city police. We've got several neighbor watch groups, that are partnering with us, towards the prevention of crime and rape and gender-based violence. Then we are also, one of our stakeholders is the Ministry of Gender, Equality and Child Welfare. So, which is great, because those are key stakeholders. Although I believe that every ministry should become a stakeholder, for example, like Ministry of Education, but we're working towards that, and I believe that it's something we will achieve going forward. One of our biggest supporters, in which I'm truly grateful for, is Engine Namibia. With the launch of Makeanoise, I went to see Engine and I told them, what our goal was with this project, and they did not hesitate. They actually funded our launch. And last year, with the feeding scheme, it really went difficult because most of our assistance was coming from friends and family members and my own resources that I put in a lot, in the feeding scheme. And Engine once again commit, to 10,000 Namibian dollars assistance per month towards the feeding scheme. It helps quite a lot, but because our children are so many, it is not enough. So we've got organizations that ad hoc also provide not monetary assistance, but for example, food parcels, to assist us. But that's really ad hoc. So more help is really needed. Would really appreciate if corporates or other organizations or donors can come on board, to really help us to reach more children with these programs, and especially with the feeding schemes. We had children really coming to us and thanking us, parents who visited our feeding scheme, and just, showing their gratitude, because for most of the children, it's their only nutritious meal on a day that they're receiving from us.
Amazing work you're doing right there, meeting the needs of communities, programs that are people-centered, as opposed to, being centered on just giving services based on what you think works. It's really people-centered. When COVID hit, you looked at the needs of the community and thought, while we cannot implement the programs that we have been implementing, we will provide a feeding program and serve people. And I hope this continues because food security is such a big issue. Today, as we come to the end of this show, what message do you have for governments? What message do you have for civil societies and good citizens on gender-based violence prevention, child abuse and rape prevention as well?
Dr. Carolyne, when I think about children and what I've experienced on the ground working with these children, you know, it's sad because they don't deserve, no child deserves not to feel safe. No child deserves to be neglected. But unfortunately, it's happening. My message today is that gender-based violence, child abuse, rape is really a collective fight. And it requires, you know, everyone to be involved, parents, neighbors, you know, organizations, donors, everybody. It's really societal issues, which I feel requires a community involvement. Because, you know, if we can stir up that attitude, that neighbor cares for neighbor again, you know, then I believe, you know, to be on the lookout for the other child and not only for your own. I know it's an attitude that will take a long time, you know, to really grasp or people really to buy into, but I think it's doable. I also feel that we really need effective involvement of men and boys, you know, in the fight against gender-based violence and rape. I'm actually busy with a program that I would like to roll out going forward, and it's about teenage dating. I believe that if we can already groom our teenagers, you know, to become the adult that it's against these issues, then we will eliminate gender-based violence going forward. You know, we will raise healthy men, you know, who respects women, healthy women who respects men, because there are also men going through gender-based violence. We should never forget that. But I believe that the more we can really make boys and men involved in these issues and not work isolated, you know, we can achieve much more.
Involving men in programs like gender-based violence prevention, child abuse and rape prevention is critical to halting the incidences and reversing the effects of it in the communities. And I just look forward to that program once you launch it. We would like you to come over again here at the NGO Whisperer show and share with us the impact that you're making in the community. Where can people find you?
People can find us on, you know, we've got a Facebook page, Makeanoise Community and Crime Prevention. I think that's been so far the most effective platform for us. People can also email us at makeanoise@iway.na. So I think those are the two most effective communication mediums that we are using currently.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great honor and a pleasure to have you join us for the last 2 weeks of people-centered programs here at the NGO Whisperer show. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Remember, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives globally.